I grew up on a farm, on a Shetland pony farm.
I had a Shetland pony.
Yes.
His name was Miniature.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wasn't very creative with the names. Yeah. And so, Miniature just felt right. What's the process like for getting a work visa?
You have to come here first and you have to find an agent. So I came in on a tourist visa. You have to go home and put together like a 500-page portfolio trying to like persuade whoever's looking at it that you're in like the 1% of what you do. My passport says like extraordinarily talented alien. The way we work together is he actually shoots and I'm kind of doing more like creative direction. I'm kind of like not really a photographer anymore, which is weird. I just bought my Canon 1DX. The camera was like sitting on a Ronin. It was kind of like close-ish to the water. A big gust of wind came through and it blew one of the scrims off its like hinges and like into the water, and it took the camera with it into the water. And he pulls the battery out of our brand new camera and it's just like water just goes everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing ever.
I'm assuming you like, if they're in your top 8 on MySpace, free shoots. If they're not making your top 8, you're probably charging for shoots.
I mean, back then I was in year 9, so I wasn't really charging. I was like, can I just sit with the cool kids? Is that sweet? Probably a month later, she calls us up and she's like, hey, I really want to pitch you for this Harper's Bazaar shoot. Are you guys available? And I was like, I will clear my schedule for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 84 of the 505 podcast. Today we're welcomed by a very special guest. We got Pixie Bella in the house. She is one of the most talented photographers. She's a creative director. She really does everything now. And it's amazing to kind of see this progression from solo photographer to now running her own business with her husband, Jesse. It was an amazing conversation.
It was also crazy to hear what it took for her to get from Australia to the States. I mean, getting a work visa sounds like the most difficult thing of all time.
It definitely wasn't easy. And she made the longest deck I think I've ever I didn't even know that it was possible to make a deck that long, but she gave so much insight on her process, and I think that it'll be really interesting for people who might be looking from starting their own business as a photographer and what it's kind of like, the process of working with these brands for photo deliverables for the most part. It was awesome. And I also found that she talks so much about making her models comfortable that she shoots with, and I think you guys will be able to draw a lot of inspo from what she's saying.
I also think it was hilarious because our good buddy Chase is back, and dude, his story that he shared on the pod was like a top 3 story. I love that.
He's a wild card. I had no idea where it was going when he brought it up, and I'm like, do I have to censor this? But we're just gonna let it fly, baby. Episode 84. Let's see that one-handed crack. Pixie Bella, here we go.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, I'm gonna start us off now. You ready?
That was such a cool intro. I wish we could just keep that, honestly.
Fuck it, I'm the editor, so I'll just hook it in. We're rolling.
Keep that in. That was so casual.
Give me the one-handed crack. Start us off strong here. I have high hopes for you. This is a very high difficulty setting because she's got these. Oh wait, whoa.
Okay.
Those nails are so long.
You were scaring me.
I have to pick it up.
You have to pick it up and then get it under the lid. Okay, that works.
This is 2 hands out, but okay, it's fine.
We're gonna let this
long
ride.
hands. Yep, go.
Oh, double finger.
Double finger.
Like, never seen that before.
This is a totally new technique. Oh, you got it.
She did get it, though.
You got it. It's okay. You know what? We're going to lob out.
What score do I get?
Let's see what you got. You
didn't dent.
You didn't dent it.
Longest difficulty rating
Longest difficulty rating. We're going to go with 5.2. And we're really happy.
Really solid.
I'll take that.
That's
Thank
really
you, guys.
Take that home. Welcome to the show.
It's out of 100. Just kidding.
Thank you.
We're so hyped to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. We've been talking about this for like such a long time and finally making it happen.
So for the listeners, they might hear a little bit of an accent. So let's talk about where you're from.
Yeah.
And like how long you've been out here in LA.
Okay. So a lot of people think I'm British or they think I'm from New Zealand, but I'm actually Australian. I moved out here about 5 years ago. Feels like yesterday, honestly, living here, like life just goes so fast. But yeah, I moved out with my husband, Jesse. We're both photographers and we live in Venice and we absolutely love it.
Fuck yeah.
Whose idea was it to come out? Was Jesse nagging you to come, or was it mostly you?
Oh, it was all me. I had this like dreamed up since I was like a little girl. I always wanted to like live in the US. I couldn't even tell you why. It was just calling my name. Yeah.
Maybe the emo culture?
Yes, we don't have that in Australia. It's really lacking. You know, I never got to go to Warped Tour, so I feel very robbed of that.
I love that Shane Gillis joke. He's talking about like Australian goth people. He's like, it doesn't work.
No.
He's like, you know, I actually do think a lot about death. He's like,
Oh my
just
God.
not sad, you know? You just always sound happy when you do it.
Oh my God, that was pretty good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was a really good
That was very respectful.
You've been practicing. I like it.
How was growing up in Australia? Because it was specifically Yamba.
Yamba, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And how was growing up in Yamba, and how did that influence you like as a person and like being a creative?
Okay, so a lot of you probably don't know Yamba or familiar with the area. It's a very rural, like beachy country town. I grew up on a farm, on a Shetland pony farm actually, and I didn't have a lot of neighbors around me at all. So I kind of just had myself and my thoughts just to like deal with. So that's kind of how I sort of came into photography. I had really nothing else to do and like no other friends around. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
You were taking pictures of the Shetland. I had a Shetland pony.
Yes.
His name was Miniature.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wasn't very creative with the names, and so Miniature just felt right.
Yeah.
You know,
They're so aggressive though.
he was a little shit. Like
Yeah.
he would always be like biting me and like stepping on my toes and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So did you take pictures of them to start? Because we have this joke that everyone that takes photos starts with flowers.
Flowers.
And then,
Oh, yeah,
and then
no.
you start to get, you had Shetland ponies at your disposal. So
Oh,
what did
for
that?
sure. Yeah. If I can think back, it was definitely like farmland and like Shetland ponies were definitely my first subjects. But then it kind of eventuated to like my friends being like, oh, you take photos. Like, can you take me some MySpace photos? Like, let's do that.
MySpace.
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
Oh
like
my
we would spend our
God.
entire weekends just like taking MySpace photos. Yeah. That's honestly how it started.
And was it mainly portraits in that beginning phase with your friends? What kind of, it's a smaller town, right? It's
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how did you kind of get the idea of like, I want to move to this big city and potentially do this as a career? Because I'm assuming not a lot of people did photography in Yamba.
No. Not a lot of people did. I moved to the Gold Coast, which is kind of like the closest city, when I was like about 20. And there is like a little bit of a fashion industry there, not so much. So I just like worked for a lot of brands there. But the US was just calling my name. Like we had brands reaching out to us saying like, come over, come do a campaign. And obviously like I needed to like take the right steps to get my visa to come here. And that in itself was like a whole year process. Like you guys are so lucky you're like from here, and like it's just so hard to get an O1 visa. It took a year, a lot of paperwork and a lot of money, but it was absolutely worth it in the end. So yeah, it was just clients calling my name.
What's the process like for getting a work visa? Because, so many photographers, I'm sure videographers, designers, they're overseas and
Yeah.
they want to come experience the American dream. And so it took a year.
It took a year. Basically, what you have to do is you have to come here first and you have to find an agent. So I came in on a tourist visa and I interviewed with a few different agencies here until I found one that kind of like felt right. And basically what they do is they will sponsor you. So you like are like contracted to them. And then you have to go home and put together like a 500-page portfolio trying to like, persuade whoever's looking at it that you're in like the 1% of what you do. So
500 pages?
Wow.
Mine was like, about 500 pages
Holy
of just
shit.
like portfolio work, like tear sheets, billboards, articles about you, interviews that you've done, things like that. Like I had to put together mine and my husband's. So it was just like the biggest like,
He was just chilling.
oh yeah.
Yeah. What did he do on this project?
Well, he did a few emails. No, he did a lot. But yeah, so that's kind of like what took a lot of the time. You have to get deal memos. So you have to talk to brands within the US to kind of like sign contracts that they will like work with you for the next 3 years. So that was really, really hard. That's what like took most of the year. And then when the approval letter came through, I like still remember the day. It was like, thank God this is just like wasn't all for nothing, and we literally got on the plane 3 days later and moved here.
Wow.
Of the
crazy.
people that apply for it, what are the odds of getting accepted? Is it small or is it kind of in the middle?
I feel like a lot of the lawyers won't take you on if they don't like believe in your case. So basically, if you do get rejected for whatever reason, you don't get any of that money back. Like you still have to pay that amount of money. And if it's a no, it's a no. So when our lawyer took us on, I was like, all right, cool. I got a shot at this. Let's do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I love it.
It's got to be validating to be like, yeah, I am in the fucking 1% of
Yeah,
photographers.
yeah.
That's pretty sick.
My passport says like extra what is it? It's like extraordinarily talented alien.
No way.
That's what it says on my passport, on my visa.
That's like the coolest thing.
Yeah,
ever.
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's like Instagram bio, everything. That's my webpage.
Oh, I love it.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah. What's up? I'm an extraordinary talented alien. It's nice to meet you. Yeah.
So can you walk us through the conversation you're having with these brands? Like, you're obviously shooting in Australia. Are you able to travel to the US to do shoots and campaigns out here, and then you're building relationships with these companies and brands?
So if you don't have a visa, you cannot come here and like work. That's the law. But what was happening for us was we were in Australia, and then these American brands were like taking their production and like sending it to Australia. So that's how we got like a lot of the clients. And this was like at the peak of like Instagram, like everyone was just wanting to shoot like Australian swim style. So me and my husband would just like get sent all of the clothing and stuff, and we would put together all the shoots, and that's how we like got all of the contacts. And then they signed all the deal memos because they just really wanted us to come here too. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Were you having to do outreach to these US brands, or were they seeking you two out for this content?
A lot of them just found us through Instagram. So I guess, yeah, they were seeking us out. And again, at the time, like Australian swimwear was like super in on Instagram. So I think that's why they kind of turned to us.
Is that like the red bikini? Do you remember that photo?
I do remember that photo.
Is that?
Yeah.
Did you take that?
I think I know who took that.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's big.
They're in the US. The girl that was the red bikini gal was a friend from Oregon. Of this.
Wait, I need to see this photo,
Of
but
this
it was
random-
definitely in Australia, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Probably on Bondi
they did the
Beach.
free swimsuit giveaway.
Yeah. Oh God, it just went the most viral
Just
thing
the
of all
craziest viral, picture.
time. How did you pick LA of all of the US?
So initially, my dream was always New York, and I'm pretty sure it was because I watched Gossip Girl when I was younger or something. And I
Great
was
show.
like, I'm gonna live on the Upper East Side, it's gonna be everything. And then I went to New York, and I was like, oh no way, I like can't. This is like a lot. It's great, but I can't live here. And then I came to LA, and I was like, okay, this kind of feels like home. And we have a lot of friends from Australia here, so it just kind of like naturally was just like, yeah, it was perfect.
I was gonna ask, like, when you moved out here, did you know a lot of people out here?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for me, I had a lot of friends here. Friends that had married either like American people and like moved out here, or creatives as well that lived here. So I was fortunate enough to step into a really good situation. And basically half of my street right now is Australian. So
that's awesome.
It
That's sick.
feels like home. Also, Venice is like little Australia.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We're kind of taking over. So.
You guys do cafes better than anybody.
Thank you.
So,
I
and really
know.
good style too. Yeah.
I don't know about the style, but the cafe thing is very true. I really miss Australian cafe food. Yeah.
It's so good. They just took it and put it in Bali, and they're like, we're going to run the cafes in Bali.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
run other shit. Yeah,
God,
like,
they're so good.
In Bali?
Yeah.
When did you go to Bali?
I went, 2 years ago. I went for a couple months.
Nice.
I lived out there and
Yeah.
I loved it. It was,
Yeah.
and I met amazing Aussies while I was there.
So many of us.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you
many.
go in Bali?
Canggu was
Yeah.
where we were kind of like
Beautiful.
headquartered, and then we bounced around to the Tibbity Top. We were there for so long. I was like going delusional. I was like, we gotta.
No, you get like island fever. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
what
you absolutely go
You're
crazy.
like landlocked. I'm like,
Yeah.
where can I get the hell out of here? But it was so fun.
And
I
it's
loved
really
it.
hard to like stay focused for some reason. When that year that I was talking about that we were waiting for our visa, me and my husband were actually living there. So my dad's side is Indonesian, so I have a lot of family there. So like, let's just go out and spend the year there. We'll work on the visa, and we'll just like enjoy like being close to Bali because it's so far
It's the
from
best,
here.
but it's the best.
It's the best.
Yeah,
like, no one understands how good it is unless you've been there.
Once you go that one time and you get off right when you get off the airplane, you're
Yeah.
like, we're out here, baby.
Yeah, and the people are
We've also
beautiful.
been
The
there.
food is
The
great.
People
are
forget we've also
Yeah.
been there.
No,
It's no
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, you guys
just
need
me
to
and
go.
just me and
No, we've
Pixie.
been there.
Yeah,
Oh,
just,
you've been?
just me
Oh,
and
amazing.
Pixie.
Yeah.
Just
I
me
don't know
and
if we
Pixie.
made this
Yeah,
clear,
we
but
made
me
it
and
clear.
Chase have also been to
Yeah.
Bali.
Oh, great.
So we've all four been to Bali.
Okay, so
me
we've
and
all been
Pixie
to
have been
Indonesia.
mainly
Okay.
been to
Never been to
Bali.
Australia though.
Never been to Australia.
you guys need
I
to
did
go.
we did Labuan Bajo to Komodo Island as well, which was fucking
Oh,
rad.
I've not done that.
It's
That sounds
crazy.
incredible.
Scary though. Komodo dragon's scary.
Right.
100% every time.
Yeah, no.
But cool.
Yeah.
I loved it out there.
Did you
Yeah.
guys get Bali belly?
I did. Oh, I
Isn't
died.
it
Did
so
you?
bad?
I actually
I
didn't
didn't.
get it.
It's so bad.
Oh wait, dude, you've been to Bali and not gotten Bali
Yeah,
dog?
that's insane. You definitely have
It's
a
more
parasite
of a,
or
more of
two.
a local thing.
Oh yeah, it's just living in me.
I love it. How do you guys go with your Indonesian? Did you like pick up any words?
Yes. What is dog? What's dog?
Anjing.
Anjing. They don't like that word, dude. Dog is like fuck you. Like it's
Yeah,
Dogs
it
are
is.
crazy out
Yeah.
there.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stray
the Bali
dogs.
dog?
I
Yeah.
went down this alley one day. I was trying to go to a fish store in Bali.
Classic. It
Classic.
checks out. It checks out.
It'll check out later.
Right.
But I'm trying to go to this fish store and I go down this thing and I see this little white dog, you know, and I'm thinking friend, you know, a little friend dog. The dog was not my friend, and I had a motorcycle, a little moped down this skinny ass alley, and he looked at me and started like coming after me, and I'm like, all right, dude, chill. Well, then he left, and I'm like, I'm good. I kept going down the alley.
No.
4 of his little shithead friends came out, and they thought it would be fun to attack me, and they were like literally like trying to bite me. One like ripped my shorts,
What?
and
Oh my
I
God.
put my legs up on the thing, so I'm like, you know, full like in a little ball, and I'm just going through. I'm banging the sides of this wall, and the dog's like barking at me, and the guy's like trying to wave. I'm like, dude, I don't want to come back. What am I gonna do? Get rocked by your dog again?
Dude, it's probably like the moped sound. They hate like like bikes
Yeah, they
and
go
skateboards
off.
and
Oh,
shit. They
I
hate
thought,
that.
I thought they were just like friendly bark, and then he grabbed the shorts,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, like
Not friendly
we
bark.
are not friends, and yeah, so that
I've
was-
not had that
That
experience.
was my experience with
Oh
the
my
dogs.
gosh. But my husband one time was like petting this little dog. It was a puppy. It was tiny. He's like, oh, cute little baby dog. Okay. Comes up to it, starts like playing with it. It bites him and like draws blood on his face. And I'm like, we should probably go like get that checked out. So we go to like the medical clinic and they're like, oh, you need a rabies shot. And I'm like, excuse me? And they're like, rabies. And I go, are you saying rabies? And they're like, yes. And then I'm like, okay, cool, let's get that. And they're like, it's 10 grand up front and
No
then
way.
your insurance will like cover it. And I was like,
sucks.
let's chance it. So he just never got the rabies
No,
shot. Yeah, he never got
so
it.
bold.
What a
But I guess he
beast.
didn't get rabies. That
Yeah,
was like
he's
6
good.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, does it lay
Wonk
dormant? I hope
I
not.
have no.
It
I-
lays
Jesus.
dormant. Could you imagine?
Just like that Bali belly.
It does.
He started COVID.
Oh my
Yeah, right.
gosh.
How is it working with your husband because you guys both do photography?
Yes. So I'll give a little background on that. So when we met, so we've been together for 10 years. So when we met, he was studying to do photography and we didn't even actually like work this out until a month into like seeing each other. I don't even know what the hell we were talking about. But anyway, I discovered that he's like studying photography at what we call in Australia is TAFE. And I look at his like curriculum and I was kind of just like, this is so outdated. This is like so old school. Like, why don't you just quit and like come and do it with me? So he quit and then we started working together. And I was sort of teaching him everything. I tried to teach him a little bit of retouching and look, bless his heart, but like computer is just not his thing. So like he knows how to make folders. He knows how to copy and paste, but editing, that's my domain. But now, the way we work together is he actually shoots and I'm kind of doing more like creative direction and like sort of, I don't know, making sure that the client is getting exactly what they're wanting and sort of speaking to every department. So I'm kind of like not really a photographer anymore, which is weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when did you make that kind of transition? Are you happy about the transition?
Kinda. I still do the film jobs though. So I shoot film when we have to shoot film and then he does the digital stuff. That was probably like 5 years ago, I think, when we moved here. It just made sense. I also do like a lot of digiteching now. So yeah.
What
What does that mean?
Digiteching, like
you can explain it, but I know what it is, just so you guys know. I do know what it is.
Chase doesn't know what it is.
I totally know what it is. I had to hire one once.
it's so like when you're in a studio and like you need to see the photos come up on the screen in front of you. So and you can like edit on the spot.
Like
tethering.
Tethering.
Yeah,
Dude,
like
we
the
know what it
person
is.
that
Oh, okay,
tethers.
sorry, wrong terminology.
No.
My bad.
You know, it's a
And they get it, and they like have a preset that
Yes.
comes in, and they like
Yeah.
showing the clients, and they're like
Yes.
talking to them.
okay.
So-
Okay.
Hard to find a digitech in LA. I found out that one time I tried to hire
Really?
one. I couldn't find one.
I have a fabulous one if you ever need one. He's great.
Well, good to know.
Yes. But now I do it. And I also do creative direction and I also do a bit of TikTok. And then, I don't know, I'm just kind of like everywhere on shoots these days. But I really like not having the same day over and over again.
I saw you were doing like BTS with the phone as well in one of your posts. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I tell people this all the time that you have to kind of look at where stuff is going.
Yeah.
And so what do you feel like if you're on TikTok, I've seen your Instagram, you post amazing stuff.
Thank you.
And so, you know, what does kind of the future look like of your job? Because it's like, you know, you're doing so many awesome things in the space.
It's funny. I actually, this is my Roman Empire. I think about this a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is this going?
Yeah, tell me.
I don't know. I really feel like I'm loving creating video content right now. So obviously specifically for TikTok. And the truth is I don't really know. I'm just trying to like adapt to the industry and just trying to move in the right direction for work. But as long as I can do all of these things, then I'm sure I'll be fine, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're good at all of them, which is I feel like rare to, you know, come around.
And so when you're working with these brands, they're coming to you and they know that you can do photo, video, social media stuff. What do those conversations look like with these brands of like, they come to you, they have an idea for a campaign, or like they're launching their winter collection or summer collection. How does that conversation go with you and your husband of like, okay, this is what we're looking for. Walk us through like your process of creating everything and like presenting it to the brand.
So we have basically a roster of brands that we work with. We very rarely take on new brands. These brands basically fill our like monthly schedule. And the relationship is kind of like, they'll come to us and be like, we need to shoot a Valentine's Day campaign. Like, do you have any ideas? And I'll put together like a little document of just a few things that I found like here and there. And then I'll work on that with like their in-house creative director. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we have a team of like, we have our lighting team, we have our set styling and the makeup artists that we work with. So we kind of always work with the same people. So I sort of get them across the vision. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And then are you pulling inspo from like Pinterest, or are there websites that you use to pull inspo, like creating a whole like deck for them?
Yeah, so that was like one of the questions in the form that you sent, and I really had to think about that one because I was like, damn, I used to like use Instagram so much for inspiration, but I feel like Instagram's kind of like a strange space these days.
Yeah, it's weird.
Creatives are just hidden. I'm not finding as much like inspo on there anymore. Love Pinterest. Pinterest is great, but I'm actually finding a lot of inspiration from TikTok right now. And just like, I've obviously like tailored my algorithm to be like a lot of like TikTok photographers, and they're so freaking creative. Like the things that they come up with are so cool, but I would never, ever, ever have found them on Instagram. I mean, that's how I found you. That's how I found you on TikTok.
You found him on TikTok?
I found you on TikTok.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
no way.
Yeah.
And you thought this is a cool photographer?
Yeah, I'm super excited.
No, I swear to God. Because it was like, you came up on my like For You page and it was like a shoot at the, what's it called?
You
the
don't
Desert
have to lie
Psych.
about it.
I'm not lying. This is true.
Yeah. The water
Psych.
thing.
Yes.
Probably a cooler location than either of them have ever shot at.
Oh, you guys have not been there?
To where?
To where?
The Desert Psych.
Yeah,
I've been
embarrassing.
to there.
I have a story about that place. Oh
Lived
my
there.
gosh.
I got Desert Psych belly. I was there.
Desert Psych, Rabias.
The Rabias.
So I was shooting there one time, my first time. I was like so excited. And I just bought my Canon 1DX and it was like so windy. Like it's like in the desert. So it just like gets so windy out there. And the camera was like sitting on a Ronin and it was kind of like close-ish to the water, and a big gust of wind came through and it blew one of like the scrims off its like hinges and like into the water, and it took the camera with it into the water. And I was actually in the dressing room like helping the models like get changed, and my husband like runs in and he was like, oh my God, and he pulls the battery out of our brand new camera and it's just like water just goes everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing ever. We had a backup camera, but that was just so brutal because we'd like just bought it.
Did the client know, or were you like, hey?
So the client wasn't on set. We were like handling production that day.
Oh, thank God.
Luckily, that's why you have a second camera. But yeah, it like that hurt.
Did it like
my God.
come back? Is the camera like ever
you have
okay?
insurance on it?
I had insurance, thank
Okay,
God.
nice.
It was hard to deal with, but yeah, we got the money back on it and obviously bought a new one. But yeah, I put it in rice for like 2 weeks and yeah, it died. She's gone.
It's so brutal
R.I.P.
when it's just like new and shiny and you just like want to baby it, and then something like that happens.
And
so
it was like the
fucking
most
bad.
expensive camera that I'd like had, and I was so proud that we bought it. And I'm like, how could we ever be parents? Like this is just so irresponsible. Also, what was he thinking putting on a Ronin next to the water? Like, God.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's on him.
Do you have any other horror stories? Because that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
God.
pretty
I would have cried. That would have got me to tears.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Horror
Do
stories
you guys
on
have anyone
set.
that we could talk about while she's thinking?
Oh,
I
me?
mean, I've-
Besides getting my car broken into?
yeah,
And
all
getting
your
my
things.
whole bag
That'll-
stolen?
that will-
Yeah,
that'll
that'll
No.
do it. Fun fact, I
Way.
just got the police report back.
And
This
When was
This
this?
happened like, when did we,
almost-
March?
yeah,
Yeah, February, March.
Was it in this neighborhood?
It was downtown LA.
Oh my God.
Outside of a Lakers game.
Yeah, it was devastating.
We were planning on shooting our merch for the podcast.
Oh my God.
Or no, this must have been in December.
Yeah, December.
Yeah.
December.
Or January.
December.
Like
Sometime,
too long
yeah.
ago. And I brought my bag with all my stuff in it because Braden works for the Lakers, so he got us tickets to the game. We went to the game and we were gonna shoot the merch after.
Oh my God.
And then I come back and I thought someone left the window rolled down and it was raining and I was like, guys, like my car's wet. And just glass shattered everywhere. My bag was gone. And I was like, oh my God.
That is the worst feeling. And you know what? I hear it so often.
Yeah.
Get insurance, dude.
And don't leave your camera bag in the car.
Insurance. No, never.
Never.
But were you in like one of those parking?
Yeah, paid for parking.
No way. Because when we parked there, I'm like, oh, it's fine. There's someone there. Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm terrified now.
After the 1DX horror incident, what did you end up kind of, getting? Did you rebuy the camera after the insurance money came back?
Yeah, after it came through, we had a 5D that was pretty beaten up that we just used until the insurance money came in. We bought the same camera again. And then we were like, should we have bought the new R5? Like, what are we doing? Like, should we have done that? But no, we got the 1DX again. And I love it. It's a really good camera. But I actually really prefer my film camera. I'm loving film at the moment.
What film camera?
What are you shooting film on?
The 1V, EOS 1V.
No, the Canon camera?
One that takes
the
like
EOS
that L
1V.
series glass or whatever.
It was like film camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the last film camera that they ever made. And
It was the one that
Yes,
kid had, Max
yes,
McGuire.
yes.
Shout out Max McGuire, cool kid.
Yeah. Okay.
and
cool.
it takes like all of your digital lenses. So
Yep.
it's like so
Oh.
crisp. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really good.
I've seen some cool fucking shit from that camera. That's a cool camera. So you shooting the 1DX digital though still?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Honestly, I had an R5. I think the 1DX is better.
Really?
It's just like cooler. I like how mechanical it is and
so
shit.
heavy.
Yeah, I
can
like
barely
that.
hold it. But the one thing about the R5 is like does it like get really hot and kind of like
If you
shuts
film
down a little?
big time, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it overheats all the time.
Okay.
Especially for video. For photo, not really.
Okay.
But
all right. Good to know. Yeah.
I just feel like the 1DX feels like it just looks different almost. The R5 feels more digital in a way.
The 1DX, she's chunky.
Yeah.
So, very chunky.
Yes.
What film lab do you use? Or do you have, did you transform your bathroom into a darkroom?
Oh my gosh. Well, actually,
DIY.
I did like photography in high school and I was shocking at the darkroom. Like I couldn't. No, can't do that.
I think I was
I thought
shocked.
you were insane.
No, shockingly terrible. I'm pretty sure like the darkroom is where everyone used to like go to like hook up in school. So that just
so
like
hot.
I don't know. That's it.
We didn't have one of those. Damn, dude.
There was not much developing going on in there. No, I love Gold 1 Hour. I know everyone goes there, but I love it. It's quick. It's reliable. I've tried a few other ones, and you can just tell the chemicals that they use just aren't that good. So Gold 1 Hour is really good. I know a lot of people go to Icon, but that's I think in Glendale.
Yeah, it's too far.
Too far for me.
Where's Gold One?
Koreatown.
Oh, that's still
That's
That's as far as I'll go.
I've gone to, what is it? Berry Flash?
That's where I've gone.
in Culver.
Oh.
But they like change locations. It's confusing now. It's not as good.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'll stick with Gold 1 Hour. It's the best.
And what did you start shooting on? What kind of camera?
Okay. So I started shooting on a Fujifilm point and shoot, and it was unbelievably grainy. I just remember trying to edit it and it was just, I mean, at the time I thought it was amazing, but looking back on those photos, I'm like, wow, so grainy. But then I actually moved to Nikon or Nikon. I call it Nikon.
Nikon's more acceptable.
What do you
I feel
guys
like.
say?
You can call it a potato and it'll kind of
Okay, fine.
transferable.
For photography, we give it a pass, right? That's the rule?
Sometimes.
Well, okay. I call it Nikon.
It's a better name for it.
I loved it. And I was like, I'm going to be a Nikon ambassador. It's like the best brand ever. And then I picked up a Canon and I was like, oh, whoa. Okay, forget that. So that's
Clip
that's
that,
what happened.
Canon.
Yeah. We'll clip that for sure.
Okay.
When you like were first starting out, you're shooting Fujifilm, and you're shooting your friends. I'm assuming you like if they're in your top 8 on MySpace, free shoots. If they're not making your top 8, you're probably charging for shoots.
I mean, back
Seems
then
fair.
I was in year 9, so I wasn't really charging. I was like, can I just sit with the cool kids? Is that sweet? That was the trade-off.
And so you're doing but you're shooting people. You're doing like portrait shoots, right?
Yeah.
And you told us that Vogue magazine, when you discovered it, that kind of like drew a lot of inspiration for you early on.
Yeah.
So can you talk about finding Vogue magazine and how that inspired you to what you're shooting today?
Okay, so funny story about that. I think I was about 15. I remember being in a news agency Do you guys know what that is? Okay, so we have this thing in Australia. It's called a news agency. You buy magazines and stationery there. It was like my favorite shop. It was like the only shop in town, but you guys don't have them here, and it makes me so sad. Anyway, I was in the news agency, and I see this Vogue magazine, and the front cover's like, I think it's like shot in India or something, and I made my mom buy it, and I was just so obsessed with the editorials in there. I just like loved it. And funny thing was I actually wanted to be a model in the beginning, so I was more inspired from that angle. And obviously, like back then, the criteria of like being a model is like you have to be a certain build, you have to be a certain height. You know, this was like literally 25 years ago. So not 25 years ago. How old am I? I'm 30 now. So whatever.
4 years ago.
15 years ago? If you were 15 at the time?
I opted out of math. I don't know. And then I just, slowly realized that I couldn't be a model. So I was like, this is the next best thing. I want to be like involved in the making of this. So that's kind of how it started. And then I discovered DeviantArt. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
I don't.
Oh my God, you don't know DeviantArt?
No.
So back then, it was like a platform for artists to just like showcase their stuff. It was like a lot of painters and photographers and like digital artists, and you would just like post your stuff on there, and people went viral on it. It was just like a really old social media. So that's kind of where it all started.
Were you posting on this app?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you were posting.
It's still like, I'm pretty sure my old stuff is like still up there.
Oh, cool.
Under Drop Dead Photography X.
Sick name.
Lol.
do you remember the first person who took that chance on you to hire you to get paid to do this stuff?
Yeah, I do. She was actually a hairdresser in town, and she needed like photos for the salon or something, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. It wasn't much, but she actually took me under her wing, and I ended up getting my first like studio because of her. She was amazing, and she really looked after me, and I worked with her for so many years. So yeah, and then obviously I moved out of town and to the city, but still hold a like place in my heart for her.
Did you have to do a lot of outreach once you left your smaller town and went to, is it Queensland, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you have to do a bunch of outreach / what did that look like during that time period?
I remember I was working retail on the side to like try and make the dream happen. It was again at the dawn of Instagram. So I kind of jumped on and started posting like a ton of my work, and slowly but surely I was just getting jobs here and there. And then I got offered a job at Princess Polly, which is like a clothing brand.
My girlfriend loves Princess Polly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yay.
They just opened one at Century City.
Yeah.
We don't know the art website, but we do all know Princess Polly.
I know. Oh, that makes me so happy. So I worked for them in-house for a couple of years, and I loved it. And so close with the team, I did not want to leave. I didn't want to leave, but I was getting job offers left, right, and center to go overseas, to go here, go there, and I was like, I have to leave to grow. So it was kind of like bittersweet going. I was excited, but I was sad. But then when I moved to the US, they were just opening their US office, and they were like, we'd love you to like come on and do creative for us. And I was like, wow, you really like can have your cake and eat it too. So they're one of my regular clients. I work for them once or twice a week. So it's great. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so ideal.
And so what are some of the deliverables look like for, Princess Polly, and is it different from other brands that you work with?
I mean, every brand's completely different. They shoot like primarily on film. So they're the ones that I shoot. Love it.
Fun.
Yeah. And we'll go downtown, we'll shoot a bunch of street style, or we'll be in like a location. We'll shoot like, I don't know, about 20 looks, and it's just a really good team. Yeah.
Nice. I'm not as well versed on the photographers' rates these days, and I know they can go high, just as high as video. So when you start transitioning to working with these brands more, regularly, how does the combo of money pop up for you guys in the photo space? Because like for us, usually it's tied to deliverables, which I'm sure it's very similar in that sense. But more, where do you come up with these rates?
Like the ballpark figure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think back in the day when I was working on the Gold Coast, oh my God, am I going to regret saying this? No. Okay. So I like made up this email address, and it was like blah, 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 the label. And I like reached out to all of the photographers in my area, and I was like, hi, I would love to do a photo shoot. How much does it cost?
No way.
And that's how I got the ballpark figure.
That's what I'm fucking talking
for what everyone
about.
around me was charging. So that's what I based it off. And
That
then
is so smart.
when we moved here, just like obviously kind of did that again. And yeah.
So we did that for our wedding business in college.
Okay.
It was me and Martha, and we were getting married, and we emailed every wedding videographer in the LA area and got
really smart.
everybody's rates, dude. And they were like, "Can we hear more about the wedding?" I'm like, "We're actually in the fucking wine town up north in Napa." We had this whole lie.
Oh
dude.
wow,
so
you had a whole
clever.
story.
Well, because they asked you this shit. The fucking wedding people aren't just dishing it out. So I was like, "What's up? Me and Martha are looking to get married around June." Like, that's how we got all their contacts.
Okay, good. I'm
So
glad I'm not
clever.
the only one going to hell.
I think that's it's a great idea. It works.
How is Martha?
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Chloe
side.
know about her?
She's a side chick.
Nice.
So we're trying to. If we could just keep that under wraps, that'd be great.
Cut that out.
But it's funny now because I'll get emails asking for rates from this brand I've never heard of, and I'm like, no, don't send it. Don't send it. So because I know
you
the
think
game.
it's the person doing the same thing?
I know the game now.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And so do you always, for your process now, do you try to hop on the phone with them, learn more about what they're doing before, sending off like, hey, I think it's going to be in this range? Because money's so uncomfy for people.
Right.
In our space, they don't talk about it a lot. And so we try to, shed light on what we charge for stuff, what we think ballpark is, for things like that.
I hate talking about money. And like, it took me a long time to really realize my worth. Definitely jumping on the phone, scoping out the deliverables, because I've undercharged for jobs that should have been like triple the cost. But again, like we only work with a hand selected amount of people, and they know our rates. It's the same deliverables every single month, and it fills our entire month up. So yeah,
That's so ideal.
I haven't had to have the uncomfortable money talk in a long time.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Have you had to have a conversation with a client that you've been working with for maybe 3 years, where maybe the rate, the deliverables haven't changed, and like your the end product hasn't necessarily changed? Your skills have of course gotten better over the course of the years, but maybe when you were first starting out with them, shoot one, it cost this much, and then year 3 you're like, not much has changed, but like we should be getting charged, or we should be charging more because we deserve price went up. We deserve a raise.
Actually, that did happen recently, but it was because our what we had to do on set just changed dramatically from like the first time we started with them. So it turned into just like so many other jobs, like stock handling, handling catering, handling props, just doing so many extra things. And I think when you like break it down in an email and you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing and this is what the extra cost is going to be, it just goes so well, because they're like, oh, okay, like now I understand like the value of this price increase. So yeah, but again, I hate talking about money, and that made me really uncomfortable, and it was a conversation that probably should have happened a long time before.
You bring up an interesting thing though, is catering.
Yeah.
So a lot of people probably listening to this podcast are one-man banding it, right? You're doing everything. Like you're coming up with the creative and you're shooting it and you're editing it. You're at a point where you have a full-on team. You're talking about you're working with makeup and you're doing the creative direction.
Yeah.
Your husband's doing the shooting. Advice to someone wanting to take the next step and create a full-on team. How do you find those people that you can trust to work with on a recurring basis? And how do you just like get to the point of working with a full-on team and doing bigger shoots?
Oh, that's a good question, because I feel like for us, it happens so rapidly. In Australia, it was just the two of us. Like we didn't have lighting, we didn't do digi. We obviously had makeup artists, but that was kind of like found through the client. I'm trying to think about how I even found my lighting team. Honestly, it was just word of mouth. One time we had a campaign and I must have put on my Instagram, I'm looking for a gaffer or a lighting team. That's how we found them, been working with them ever since. And then it just expanded from that, in terms of also we have like a social media assistant, and I found her on set with another client. She was interning. And so I was like, do you want to come work with us? And like, just, I don't know, you just meet people along the way and it kind of just snowballs from there. And then you just become like one big family and you just work together all the time.
You also get to work with models on a recurring basis.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is that something that you bring to the brand, or like how does it work that you get to work with the same models on different shoots?
They definitely take our recommendations like every now and again, but a lot of the time they choose it. They choose what's right for them, kind of thing. So yeah, we have a little bit of input with models too, but I find if I work with one girl that's new and I like post her on Instagram, I feel like a lot of my clients will like book her after that, because they can see what we do together and they like love it. So we generally do end up working with the same few models as well.
Are models hitting you up a ton to do like collab
test shoots? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so how does that work in your guys' space? Do you send, hey, my rates to do that are this, or do you guys collaborate on it together and it's like you both are eating kind of thing? How does that work?
So I guess when I first moved here, we weren't working as much as we would have liked to have been. So we started doing a lot of test shoots, and they were just for free. They were with models that I'd met or really wanted to work with or connected with through Instagram, and just like planned something really creative. I guess my goal was I wanted to create what I wanted brands to book me for. So I would just kind of pitch it to the models and they were like always down. We don't do a lot of like paid test shoots anymore because the brand work is just so much better. But every now and again I'll do a test shoot, and it definitely feels like the creative like soul, you know what I mean? But it's hard to find the time now.
Totally, yeah, because you're working so much on
I feel like we all struggle with that, because then you like start to do something and you're like, oh, this is so fun, this is why I fucking love this shit. But I haven't done it in a while because I like money.
I know. I'm struggling with that at the moment. I just really want to do a test shoot, but in my downtime I'm like so exhausted, but I have so many good ideas, but I'm tired. Gotta
rest the brain. What do you do to recharge?
Play Sims.
Nice.
Yeah,
like
that's
Sims?
it. I love the Sims.
You and Chloe would get along
yeah,
too.
Lena plays Sims. It's fun. Really? Yeah, she's got our family in there.
Really?
I'm always like dying and shit. Yeah.
She's not taking care of you?
No,
You got that Bali belly in the Sims too?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
That Sims belly.
Sims belly. No, that's like definitely my like escape from reality. Aside from that, I'm not very good at work-life balance. It's like 90% work and like 10% like me time.
We would get along really well.
Yeah. I was telling Jesse today, my husband, I was like, if I have too many days off in a row, it's like so hard for me to get back into the swing. I'm like better off than just not having any days off.
Even I was filming something. I was filming myself for like a TikTok.
Yeah.
And I hadn't filmed one in like 2 weeks.
Right.
And even just like talking to the camera, or even like you were saying, like picking up the camera to go film, like you get in a groove if you do
it's like
it
a muscle.
consistently.
Yeah. You got to work it out. All the time.
It really is. You got to make those social videos. And how often right now are you making TikToks? Slash, do they come to you from seeing your TikToks, or is it still mostly Instagram?
You know what? I've actually had a fair few come from TikTok. But it's really hard. So I feel like as a photographer, TikTok is so daunting because like on Instagram, like posting photos, like if you're a photographer, that's your currency. Like that's easy for you to do. But now with like TikTok in the mix, that's a whole other thing that you have to edit, make interesting, make a story about. You got to do the video and somehow like incorporate the photography in it too. So I really struggled with TikTok in the beginning because I'm like, I don't really understand how I'm meant to use this platform. I probably haven't posted one for like a month or so, but I'm like bankrolling content at the moment. I want to try and do like a 30 days of like creative ideas. That's like, I'm going to try and commit to that.
We did a 30-day challenge and it helped tremendously.
Really?
Growth was crazy.
How long did you guys like put in every day to like make it happen? Was it like an hour or two or longer?
I had to batch because I was working so much. But I was trying, it never ended up working out for me. And I feel like I was always going to like the very last second. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock. Like, holy shit, I gotta edit this video. But I tried to plan them out on Sunday and film like 2 or 3 and then edit those, that night. And then, on Tuesday night, I get another 2 or 3 or something.
Okay, good.
And then leave it. We counted a pod clip as one, kind of like a cop out because we weren't editing the pod clip.
Okay.
But that really helped us out a lot. Having that pod clip was like, thank God today's covered.
On Saturday, I'm like, okay, I'll rip the pod clip because like I don't want to work on a Saturday.
It was nuts though, like the just the numbers in your analytics are just green. Like you're like, holy shit. Okay, so posting
every day, 30 days really helps. I feel like, I don't know, TikTok probably back then was a little different, but now it's like hard to.
I agree.
It's a little harder now. I don't know.
I think it's much harder. I think it's changed so much. Even the level, I feel like, of content has gone up a lot. People are making higher quality stuff now, and there's just it feels noisy right now.
It's very noisy.
I don't know if me and Kostas were talking about this last week, but TikTok Shop came to town.
Oh, I've not seen that yet.
You haven't
seen that feature.
Get ready. It's gonna ruin.
Is it like
it's gonna ruin your whole feed.
Oh,
kind of. And And so essentially like what'll happen is like, say you had a drink company or some shit and you were, you know, posting about it. You're like, guys, this drink company is amazing.
Yeah.
And those are popping up now, every single video for me.
You're basically able to buy what the person's
click.
promoting on TikTok through the TikTok shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no more like link in bio.
No,
It's
they're
like,
literally bang. And what's crazy right now is TikTok is eating 35% of the cost of whatever product up to 200 orders per day.
Oh my god,
which is insane. So like someone posted their shorts company and they gave the example of like TikTok's eating 35% of these profits. Or like they're buying it. They're literally buying it to get people to buy TikTok shop.
Wow.
So it's our whole feed. I haven't like
I've not seen that.
It actually kind of sucks.
Is that gonna deter people from using it though? Is it like gonna be like a downward spiral like Instagram?
Probably.
I think it might.
I think right now is probably it. You know how on all the apps, how they have this peak where the advertisers begin to start to actually funnel billions of dollars into it. I feel like that's where we're just about to get with TikTok, and it's going to become not as fun, I think.
Okay, so I'll do my 30-day creative idea thing,
done.
and then I'll tap out for a little while.
I don't know though. It's weird. Like where do you feel like you want to put most of your attention right now?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. Like I want to put it into TikTok because the visibility is just so much better and it's so much fun, and it's like it's exciting to post something. Obviously it's so stressful because it's like takes like hours to make something that you are like happy with. I feel like I am in this weird space with social media where it's like I don't really know where to be, and I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but yeah, I don't know.
I think we're all going through that. Yeah, I think we're all going through that.
Yeah.
Right? Like what do you think about
I just think there's so many options.
Too many.
It's tough.
We just need to bring back MySpace.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
one and just have it be one.
I need it.
Can we do a shoot for my
MySpace?
Like,
yeah, let's do it.
That'd be great.
Top 8.
Yeah, right. You also got to shoot something super fun this year, the Harper Bazaar cover shoot.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how that came about?
Okay.
And just like more details on the shoot?
So that came about, what was it? I was at a party actually for Super Bowl, and I was there with, she does like PR. And we just became like really good friends and just had like a really big night together. And probably a month later, she calls us up and she's like, hey, I really want to pitch you for this Harper's Bazaar shoot. Are you guys available? And I was like, I will clear my schedule for that. And that's just kind of how it happened. I feel like that's how we got a lot of our really exciting jobs, is honestly from going out and just meeting people, just networking. And that was just like such a pinch me moment because I hadn't done like a cover like that before, and it was such an epic shoot and full creative control, and I loved every second of it.
Were you nervous like walking onto set like to shoot it, or were you just like, I'm in my bag, I got it?
No, I was like, I'm in my element, let's
Hell
go.
yeah.
And I wanted to keep going. They're like, we've got it. I'm like, no, one more. But yeah.
Had you shot with Madison Martina before?
Oh no, that was the first time. No, actually no, we did a lounge shoot together previous, and we got along really well. But yeah, that was fun because that was just super creative. And then she ended up hiring us for her swimwear brand to shoot that down in Costa Correa. So
Madison did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
dope.
So it was really good.
And how fun is that, like showing up to set? Do you know who you're shooting model wise?
Yes. I always read the run sheet.
Gotcha.
Always.
So the run sheet is all the talent involved?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I always need to know who's on set.
And so the models know you're photographing as well?
Yes.
So
Well, they should if they read it. Sometimes they don't. They just see start time and address.
So you guys shooting each other's like texts the night before, being like, see you tomorrow?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. That's so
especially if
fun.
it's like a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you found with, maybe posing models? Because I know that you do this at a really high level now, but someone that is just getting into maybe portraits and whatnot, they're working with, a person, that's just starting out modeling and whatnot. How you handle someone who maybe doesn't know the poses to hit? And you've obviously been around some amazing models.
I feel like actually showing them myself what pose I want them to get into helps so much. And remember how I was saying how I like wanted to be a model in the beginning? Mm-hmm. Well, it's weird how my career also landed me in a position where I do a little bit of modeling. So that has been very strange, but really, really fun too. And I think that has helped me get into the minds of a model to know what's going to help them. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like an actor becoming like a movie director.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that kind of gives me a leg up a little bit. just showing them. And sometimes Jesse will show them, and like watching him kind of like do the pose, and like that's just really funny. But
do you show them the photo too? Does that help them kind of get more
yeah, definitely. But I mean, I always come with a mood board, always. But sometimes what you want isn't on the mood board, so you kind of have to just do it.
You're shooting models in, you know, bathing suits and lingerie. Yeah. And that can be a very
like intrusive thing. Yeah.
It probably helps that you're a female, so you can probably help them feel a little bit more comfortable. But do you have any tips that allow the models to trust you a little bit more on set?
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel like being a woman makes them so comfortable. And my husband, Jesse, he's so like, he's really, really relaxed. And I think that just like the fact that we're like a team makes them feel really comfortable. We're very personable with the models and very like non-serious on set too. So I think that definitely makes them way more comfortable. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I'll shoot someone and then maybe I'll see them again and they'll be like, oh, I was so nervous and I was so in my head. And I'm like, well, that I never would have known. Like, you showed up, you looked amazing. I never would have thought you'd been stressed out this whole time. But yeah, again, we still work with a lot of the same people, so it just gets better and better. Did you let your husband stay away from the shoot in the pool? Like, he was 10 feet, you know, minimum. Yeah, he was like, he had to stay back and be with the clients, or what? On that shoot? With the pool, yeah. He watched it fall in. Water. Oh, he's swimming. No, I'm talking about for Harper's Bazaar. Oh, yeah. Oh, that shoot. Is your camera on that, Ronan? Were you you're like, hey, 10 feet back from the pool scenes. Like, you can't be close to this thing. Oh, my gosh. He's so, like, reckless with our stuff. Like, I can't even tell you how many things he's broken. But that builds character for the He's such a character. You guys would love him. Yeah, we'll have to meet him. He's an awesome photographer. We should have him on the podcast. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That'd definitely. What do you do, though, with the pool scene? I've never shot in a pool before. Really? Yeah, well, no. I wasn't in the pool. Oh, you weren't the model was in the pool. Okay, so you didn't have to be like in there. No. I don't have any experience with like underwater photography. That just scares the hell out of me. Having to like camera in water. Housing, like, scary. Sus, yeah. I never trust it. But would love to. Were there any challenges you faced though, having a model in a pool or body of water? It was a heated pool. She was so warm in there. I think if anything, I was just being like, let's just do more shots. And they were like, we've got it. And I'm like, get back in that pool immediately. And she's like, okay, let's go. So it was probably just me just like pushing it, if anything, just being so annoying because I was just so in the zone. Did that shoot bring you more work from being on that magazine? I honestly have no idea, but it definitely fed my creative soul, which is like, at the end of the day, means so much to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I do a lot of commercial stuff, which I love. I love doing commercial stuff. And then we get to do our creative campaigns, which I love too. But yeah, you got to fill your own cup sometimes. Yeah, and it's hard to find the time. You were saying though that it's like super relaxed on set. Mm-hmm. Are you guys like blasting music? And are there special things that you like to bring on set that it isn't a camera and a lens that helps like set the vibe? Or like must-haves on set? I don't even... Coffee? I don't know. Nice. Music? I'm always playing Doja Cat. I feel like everyone vibes with that. Yep. And then I'll like every now and again like sneak in a little bit of like emo music and everyone's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, sorry. Nothing in particular, but just... I don't know, always joking around and just having a good time. And our assistant Kelly, she's such a legend. She's really fun. I feel like you might know her actually. What's her name? Kelly Wynn. I'm not sure if I'm familiar. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, just having like a really approachable team. Sometimes you go on set and people have such an ego and it's just not fun. And why would you want to bring that to set? Why would you want to bring that energy with you? So people meaning like photographers? A lot of photographers, yeah. Okay. And makeup artists and hairdressers, my gosh, can be so intense. But any times with like the models, or do you find that like maybe not so much with the models? I've only ever had one model like get frustrated with me. So the client was like basically putting down more and more items as the day like went on, and she was getting annoyed because she just wanted to leave, and she kind of was like yelled at me and she goes, you keep putting things on the floor and I don't want to do this and la 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 la. And at that point in time, I was just like kind of really sad because I was really excited to shoot this model and she was just giving me so much attitude and I was like, I'm not even putting things on the floor right now. So yeah, that was really hard. But then she turned around at the end, she apologized. So we're friends now. That's nice. Yeah. But that's the only time I've ever had friction. Yeah.
You're lucky. I feel like we've dealt with some friction.
Oh, really?
Some silly people on set. You just never know, man.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Tensions run hot, you know.
Yeah, you're behind on schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. But you've been able to see like so much of the world from your camera. And you sent us through some amazing destination places that it's brought you. And so, you know, where do you hope to one day kind of visit? Where do you hope that camera takes you?
So I really need to go to South Africa. Like, need to go there.
I've been. Have you guys been?
No. Where did you go?
We went to Cape Town.
Yeah.
And then we went to we went on a safari.
Oh my gosh.
Which was I forget exactly where the safari was.
But you did crash my drone though.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is crazy.
Oh
your
my
drone.
God.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
check
crashed
it.
my
So
drone.
this was in 2019, and I had like the big Phantom drone, and Chase had the Mavic, the first Mavic.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring a drone to fly, but I couldn't bring like the big drone. So I was like, Chase, can I bring your Mavic? He's like, yeah, sure. So I take it and I fly it at our hotel. And I'm like going around, I'm doing a really sick like pan rotating thing, and it hits a tree and it falls down, but it gets caught in the tree, and it's above this like river that's in front of the hotel. And so I was like, hey, I just crashed my drone. Can I go walk over there and get it? They're like, no, that's lion territory. Like nobody can go over there.
It's perfect.
And I was like, okay, well, like what if you like row a boat? Like it's like 25 feet away. They're like, no, there's like a hippo in there. Like, can't do it. So they sent this dude who was like 75, and he was just like the lion whisperer. He's like, yeah, he's like, I got it. So he like goes over and gets the drone. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I told Chase like a year and a half later.
Oh my God.
All of a sudden my camera, I had to like rotate every shot by 1% in Premiere to like get it the horizon line right. And I was like, why is this going on? And then I like told you about it. And you're like, oh, it's because I crashed your drone about a year and a half ago. And I was like, that's what happened.
Oh my God.
Heavy.
It's okay. I moved on to a new drone at that point.
But aside
so
from that, South Africa's good, right?
Seems
amazing.
awesome.
Oh, you've not been?
I've never been. I said seems awesome. I haven't been.
I tell anyone who's never been on a safari, like add it to the top of your bucket list, because it was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, and Cape Town's also just like amazing.
So beautiful. I know. I'm really trying to like pitch it to my clients. I really want to go to Namibia too. Namibia?
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I have.
It's got the
Is it the tree?
Well, probably. There's some trees there, but it's like the abandoned sand houses.
Oh, crazy.
Do you know what
I've seen pictures of these.
And it's on like the Tame Impala like album cover, and it's this whole town of these abandoned houses, and there's all this sand inside. And
how do you spell it?
Yeah, that.
Namibia?
But then abandoned houses after it.
Namibia.
Nailed it.
You're right there.
Okay, there we go. Here we go. Let's see. Yes. See,
yes.
The trees. The trees.
And
look
like
at that.
Tim
it's
Walker's
like
shot there. It's like gorgeous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's beautiful.
There's houses though. Sand
Wait,
houses?
did you type in sand houses?
No, he just typed in the country.
He just wanted to prove his point.
Oh, okay. I see this. This is wild. Holy
so a
shit.
shoot in the trees?
He's just stuck on tree. He's so
Not
stuck.
the tree.
Sorry,
the house.
Yeah.
In the house.
Can't get past
Guys,
the
there's
tree.
trees there.
I need to go here. I have to.
Go
That's
there.
crazy.
This is the one thing. I actually am so afraid of flying. And I know to
really?
get to this spot, you have to take like a tiny little Cessna plane. And I'm like, I will do it, but I don't want to.
Small planes are scary.
I'm like so scared of flying.
Just close your eyes the whole time.
Yeah. Definitely.
I do have a quick travel story that I usually don't share with guests, but I just got to get it out.
Tell it.
It's juicy. So I was just in Korea for a shoot. It was
amazing.
awesome. So much fun. The thing about Korea, big skincare thing. That's the whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
I love
They're
it.
incredible spas and everything. So I'm like, I got to go to a cool spa one night. It's my one night that I'm like solo and I'm going to go do it. I don't want to go to like the touristy one. So I find one that has like more like underground good reviews, but not like the classic like tourist and like Gangnam, you know? Go there. First of all, it's in a basement, which I don't love. And I walk in, the guy like speaks some English, talks me to like the body scrub, which is like their thing, right?
Yeah.
So I go in the locker room, he's like, okay, get naked. It's like a few words. He didn't know a lot of words, but he told me to get naked. Got naked. The only other person in the locker room, it's like a 75-year-old man, also very naked, sitting in a chair, just vibing. So I go into like the bath. He tells me like sit in the bath. So I'm sitting there and just like wondering what's going to happen here. I'm like pretty confused and nervous all by myself. The 75-year-old man, still naked, walks out of the locker room, looks at me, and he's like, points to the table. And I was like, oh, this is my masseuse. Like, this is the guy that's about to scrub me down. So I get on this table and he's just pouring water on me. He's talking to me in Korean, just rubbing 75, just
gosh.
sagging everywhere, dude. He had like a little, at the end, he put on like a little loincloth and then like turned me over. So like, I'm just sticking straight up, dude. And then he like straddled the table and started like scrubbing my chest. And I'm like, bro, this table's wet. Like, you are one slip away from like this going very, very differently.
Oh my gosh.
It was, dude. And I just, and the whole time I'm like, how am I going to feel when I get out of here? Like, am I going to feel violated? Am I going to feel happy? And it's, the second I closed the door, I just laughed for like 15 minutes. I was like, that was the most ridiculous experience.
Sounds
Not
very
good
intrusive.
either. Yeah, very intrusive.
I was gonna say you are glowing.
Yeah, you look
I do
good.
have pretty smooth skin now.
You exfoliated for
But
sure. Oh wow,
it wasn't like the
soft.
relaxing kind of thing I was looking for because I was just so uncomfortable. But
Buzz.
Korea was really cool.
Okay.
Just find the right spa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to go. I'm obsessed with Korean food at the moment.
So good. Korean barbecue.
Have you been to Dansangsa in Koreatown?
No.
No.
Oh my God, you must. It's so good. It's like Korean bar food. Unreal. It's like
hell yeah.
everything's either $2.99 or $7.99. There's nothing in between. It's
Fuck yeah.
unreal.
That's a great price.
Both those are
Easy.
good
I
prices.
mean, you can't get a meal
Yeah.
for under 25
We're
bucks
getting
these days.
screwed
in LA.
out here. It's terrible.
I need to go to Koreatown.
Okay, that's good to know.
Perfect. Yeah. So okay. So you want to go to South Africa?
Yes. Yep.
And what are some of your favorite places that you've been?
I recently just went to the south of France. We shot in Nice. We shot in a place called Menton, which is on the border of like France and Italy. Like, it's like you just drive across and you're in Italy. That was unreal.
I had lunch there once. It's no big deal.
You did?
Yes, no big deal. Keep going.
I love it. Where did we just? Oh, we were just in Greece like a few days ago. We did Naxos, which is it's next to Mykonos. It's a really beautiful like family island.
I've never been. That sounds fucking
It's
awesome.
so
though.
good.
He was pointing at me. Have you been to Greece?
I have been to Greece.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
I've been to Athens, Mykonos, Santorini, and Corfu.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The food is so good.
The best.
The best. And honestly, for Europe, not that expensive.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, south of France, like, was very expensive.
So is
I've
it all
heard.
just different clients that are flying you to like these places and like
a lot of the
content there?
time, well, at the moment, we have one client that does on location, overseas shoots like constantly. So we have like our entire next year pretty much mapped out where we're going to go. So we are so fortunate to have them. They are unreal. They fly us and the whole team out and we just shoot for like 5 days. And then I'll take like a couple of days off afterwards just to like explore. Because may as well.
And it sounds like they're taking you to like cool fucking spots.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Are you having to pitch them for the spots, or are they just like, yo, you're going here, and you're like, sign me up?
Like, I feel so lucky. This is what they do. They'll put us on hold, and then a month before, we'll just get an email, and they go, all right, surprise, book your flights for Spain. Like,
way.
it's a dream come true.
You found the best client.
Yeah.
I
ever.
know. They are unreal. Yeah, so good. So, yeah, we have a lot of next year mapped out. Some of them I don't know yet, but first stop is Jamaica, which I've not been to
Sick.
before.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
And every time is it extremely different for that specific brand, or is it, does the same kind of styles continue to pop up? Is it like swimwear, or is it?
It's swimwear.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and so typically for that, do you also pitch them the video stuff, or is it mostly all photo for
It's
that
mostly
brand?
all photo and
Okay.
like iPhone. I feel like, I don't know about for you guys, but for me on set, they're really like going hard on the iPhone like content. So they had a videographer and then they switched it out for like someone who does like really good iPhone
How
stuff.
crazy.
It's
I know.
so weird.
It's
Freaks me out.
scary.
It's so wild.
Makes me so nervous.
I do really good
Same.
iPhone stuff, and I'm also free
Okay, go
next
off.
year. I don't know if you guys are looking to bring.
Perfect.
I've never been to Jamaica.
I'll let them know.
Could be down.
You got 5 times Zoom?
He doesn't have the 5X
You have the
zoom
new
yet.
one?
No, he
No,
doesn't.
it's
the
Oh.
one
hold on.
below the new one.
It's-
I have the new one. if
It's
you're
coming.
wondering.
All right,
It's
all right.
coming in a few weeks.
Okay, you have to tell me if it's good because I think I have a 13 right now.
That's what I
Actually,
have.
my content phone that I have is an 11, and
Oh, you would love this then.
Okay, but I love the 11 because it doesn't have that weird like auto lighten like
I
function.
hate
Oh, that's
that
nice.
thing.
Right?
That HDR.
You like can't turn it
HDR.
off.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So the 11 doesn't have that
With photos.
with photos. Yes.
I think you'd like the new cameras on the new one.
I might need to get it just for the video.
The wide camera, what's kind of clutch is now it doesn't like get all noisy. You know how before
Right.
if you
Yeah.
it would just like, it's all crazy. That's kind of a new thing that they did.
Nice.
This is the same exact phone as the 14. It's identical.
Really?
Nothing is different really.
Okay.
Just the 5X camera and the 0.5.
But you're saying it's worth it to get it?
if you have the 11, I think it's very worth it because I think the two cameras are fun.
Okay, yeah.
I think they're like, you'd be like, oh, okay, like
Okay.
these are totally different, and they look. It's like from the 11 to the 15, you would see noticeable difference. From 14 to 15, it's like
Yeah.
kind of similar for the most part.
They got me on the program where like I upgrade every year, and I think I'm gonna hop off of it because I feel like the changes now are so minuscule that
Yeah.
you don't need the new iPhone every year anymore.
That's what I've been saying, dude.
What are you on?
13 Pro Max, baby.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a professional photographer, dude, the best one here. And she's got the same phone as I
And
do.
I'm saying let's get an 11.
Yeah, she's down.
She said, let's go backwards.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards. But I feel like in photography, things really have gone backwards. Like everyone's shooting with a digicam these days and film too. I feel like shit is in.
I saw
That's so
Being
true.
shit is cool right now.
You had a lot of like flash on your page. Talk to us about flash photography.
Okay.
I'm scared of flash.
Really?
It just scares me a little bit.
Are you all natural light?
No,
No.
I do video, but like
The continuous, yeah.
the flash. Just like when I see you guys rocking the flash, I'm like, how is this working?
Well,
Like,
actually, on a lot of our campaigns, we'd use continuous for like the videographers to be able to use too.
Oh.
However, with my film camera, and if I'm like shooting like downtown, I'll pop my little like pop flash on top, like the little hot shoe flash, and shoot that with film, and it looks really good. But it's very raw. It's like in your face, but kind of gives that like shitty cool feeling.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I'm
that
talking
that
about.
hard light shit. I think that's so cool. That's such a cool look.
Yeah,
It's interesting how things just change.
yeah.
I know.
It's like all trends, even in photography and
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
it's so cool though.
I wonder if like our kids are gonna be like, oh, I'm shooting on an iPhone 1. Like they go to like Sammy's camera, like I just got the
No,
iPhone 1
literally.
just for the camera.
Like
Probably.
shitty digital will be
Yeah.
in instead of like
Dude,
film.
Oh my
Like
god.
I've been ordering digicams off eBay that I would have used when I was like 10 years
those
old.
like camcorder
So
kind of
fun.
things.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I actually
wow.
love the way that they just like capture it, and then when you try and like put layers on it in Photoshop, it goes really pixelated. It's really fun.
What's your editing process like?
I love Capture One. Yeah. And I used Lightroom for like a little while. I just found it a little clunky, slow, and Capture One obviously so good for tethering, so that's why I love it. It just feels really high def.
Are you primarily doing shoots right now for your business, or do you also take like 20% of my income comes from brand deals, or what does it kind of look like for you?
So I feel like now, weirdly, it's kind of pivoted to like 60% like photo shoots and maybe like 40% like modeling and brand deals.
Cool.
Which has only really started in the last 6 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you've really gotten to live this dream of your original dream of being
which
a model.
is so weird
Wow.
for me. Yeah, but I love it. It's really fun.
Do you take like self portraits of yourself modeling?
Oh, I used to like back in the day, but not so much now. I just get Jesse to take them.
Word, right?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, he's
like,
there.
take this photo, please.
I see you've done this is like just random, but you've worked with Skims a few times,
Yes.
and they're putting out Skims men.
Yes.
Fuck yeah, I'm getting it, dude. I love Skims.
You love
Birthday
Skims?
birthday presents for my girlfriend. Skims.
Oh my
every time.
gosh. Always like
So soft.
if you need some like to get a girl a gift,
Yeah.
Skims will always.
My girlfriend loves Skims
It's
too.
so good. I don't know if you guys have ever made like a board, like a vision board.
Oh, cool.
But Skims was like on my vision board, and it ended up like coming to fruition. And a lot of these things this year have come to fruition.
Did you find your fire?
Wow, that's cool.
Kinda. But do you know what? This photo here is like the lead singer of one of my favorite bands, and I hadn't seen them before. And I got to go and see them. It's Spring with the Horizon. I got to go and see them when they were touring with Fall Out Boy. So I go to the show. The next day I'm shooting in downtown, and I turn around and the lead singer is walking towards me. I'm wearing a shirt with his face on it that I bought the night before. He's walking towards me, and I was just like, is this even real? I'm like, hey, can I like get a photo? That would be like really great. He was so nice, and I just couldn't believe that I got to meet him. And then we ended up like going to the next show the next night. It was just like,
oh my god.
But like, and then I looked at that and I'm just like, okay, that just happened then, you know?
You're
So you guys should always make a manifestation board.
I was just about to say, so are you a big manifester? Do you feel like that? Obviously it's working.
I think so. I don't know. I only just did it this year and it's sort of working. The only thing that hasn't happened is the Japan.
You'll probably get
someone's going to call you next week for the
They're going to hear
We
this.
pray.
Yeah.
You just got to put it into the universe.
Yeah,
You
I think
just
so
gotta-
too.
you just gotta speak out
you
loud.
say it enough, man, something's going to roll for you.
I do
Yeah.
think the vision board is so powerful.
Yeah.
I've made like a couple, and almost every time I feel like basically everything has come true. Or I'm like, I don't want that anymore anyways, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's something in the brain that when you say it and you can see it in front of you,
It's gonna happen.
It gravitates you towards
Yeah.
those things.
I
Yeah.
also think it's smart you have it as your wallpaper
Yeah,
because
you've
I've
seen
made
it all.
vision
Every
boards
day.
before, and then it's
Yeah.
like you don't see it every day.
I'm getting
Yeah.
on it. I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do that on
I'm
my
going to do
phone.
that. Yeah. I'm going to do it on
I'm
the
gonna do
phone.
it. Do
You've
it.
inspired me.
I'm gonna do it.
I
I'm
did
gonna
this
do
at the beginning of the year.
Chase and I will get on that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how, anyway, back to the Skims. Now I started working with them.
That's so
and that
cool.
was like on there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so now every time you see that, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I love it. I need to make one for next year, but I'm like, what do I even want? I don't even know.
I mean, that's so
It's a good
cool.
feeling.
It's so
Yeah.
cool though that you're getting to model and like do the damn thing. Like
Yeah.
that's
it's
just amazing.
super weird.
Yeah.
But I love it.
It's so do you feel like now, because you've shot so many fucking models,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like when you get up there that you're like, hold it for a sec, I got this, like I do your job, you know?
Oh my God, never. No. They are like 10 times better than me.
No, I'm saying you as the model getting to talk to the photographer, because you're like, yo, I get how to pose, dude. Like I do your job usually. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of the time it's like Jesse shooting me.
Oh, Jesse.
So yeah, so I'm like very comfortable with him. I tell
Okay.
him what to do. I tell him the angles, you know. And I do a lot of the retouching too and the selecting, so that definitely helps too.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other jobs that I have like another photographer shooting me, I really try not to like put my 2 cents in, because that's just like,
I feel that. You're
you know,
like,
I feel
I'll try-
rude.
you
Being
try to
like,
keep-
why don't you try this thing? Like, no, you can't
Yeah.
say that.
But it's in
totally.
your head.
Yeah.
Oh, for
She
sure.
doesn't know shit.
For sure.
It's like when a creative director is like, I actually own a camera. If you could just like change, I'm like, dude.
Oh God, no. I definitely keep it to myself for sure.
That's
But it's really
funny.
fun being in front of the camera, because I can tell you what, it's so much less stressful. You just get told where to be and when and go for it. So yeah.
Being behind the camera.
No, being in front of
being
it.
in front.
She
Being in
just gets
front.
to vibe.
Being the model. Okay,
It's
got
way
it.
funner.
You've shot a lot of models.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like your niche.
Okay.
Are you looking to continue to shoot that, or do you want to like dabble in other niches as a photographer?
Yeah. So I feel like if I was to like pivot, I would actually love to like go into music. Never done it before. My portfolio does not reflect anything of the sort, but I just have felt like it would always just be so fun to like go on tour with a band for like a season. Let's just speak that into the universe.
There it is.
Calling your shot.
Kosis might know some people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can definitely like I'm more so in the DJ scene.
Yeah, no,
not so
but
much in the
easy.
email. But
Yeah.
if I'm always getting hit up to shoot shows.
Yeah.
So if you want, I can definitely put you in
I would
contact with some
honestly
people.
love to.
cool.
I love music. I
Yeah.
love everything about it, and I just think that it would just be so fun.
It's really fun. It's just really exhausting, especially
Yeah.
with DJs because the shows are so late.
Yeah, I know. You're like, okay, you got to get up at 5 and like go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah. Does it get lonely?
In a weird way, yeah. Like
Yeah.
you're around so many people constantly and you're overstimulated, and then you get back to your hotel room and you're alone. But it's almost like because you're moving so much, you don't have time to really think about it
Yeah.
in a weird way. I also did it in an interesting way where like I was gone every weekend and then I was coming home.
Yeah.
So I can't speak from like actually going on a full on tour where I'm gone for like 3 or 4 months at a time.
Yeah.
But speaking of actually, okay, I just thought of this. Being away and dealing with your whole visa thing and getting lonely. How was it? How has it been like being away from your family in Australia and like not being able to go back, right?
So I think the hardest period was during COVID. So Australia was super strict.
Yeah.
I remember when they kind of announced that they were like closing the Australian borders, and we basically had to make a choice, like, do we stay here or do we go home? And our family are like, please come home. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. And I think we'd been living here for maybe a year and a half at that point. And I was just like, I'm going to stay. And I'm so glad that I did. You know, my mom didn't talk to me for like a month. Like, she was so mad. But I'm so glad that I stayed, because that landed us all of our clients. Because people just sort of like didn't really want to work during that period. They were scared. And I was like, well, I'm here. I'm going to do it. And that's how we end up with a lot of the clients that we have now.
So you were working a lot during COVID?
Well, we got COVID very early on during the pandemic. So for me, it was pretty much asymptomatic. For my husband, he got like a little bit of taste and smell lost. So after that, like, initial fear went away, I was just like, let's do it. Let's go. As soon as like we're allowed to do production, we did it.
You've now done this for a lot of years. And so if you could go back, Pixie, to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell that? What would you tell that girl?
Oh, don't like sweat the small stuff, and don't care about what people think of you, because it doesn't matter. And have fun and live in the moment.
I love it.
Boom.
I love
and
it.
don't be so afraid of flying, because it's not worth it. But I still am.
Is it the you're out of control? Like, you're not the one flying the plane?
I'm just like really scared of heights.
And that'll
Yeah.
get you.
Yeah.
Don't get a window seat.
A what?
Don't get a window seat.
No, I hate the window seat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, I hate it. I also hate clear elevators, like glass elevators.
Yeah, those are interesting.
And freight elevators, and I won't do a hot air balloon. And I hate wells.
That's crazy.
That's like my list. That's my list of like no-goes.
Like
Very specific.
literal whales, like orcas and
whales?
stuff.
No, wells.
Wells.
Oh, wells.
Yeah, that's funny that you thought that.
Okay.
He loves fish.
Crazy
Oh, you
story
do?
my girlfriend told me. Her friend was in Vegas this past weekend on the 55th floor in the elevator. The
Oh my God,
elevator
don't.
broke and
Don't.
it fell all the
No,
way
it
down.
didn't.
I
Get out.
swear to
No
God.
way.
Shut up.
Yeah, I swear.
It has a
Get
safety thing
out.
though to catch you,
They went to the hospital
sometimes.
and like they're fine, but
but it shot them
crazy.
up to the top.
No. They were at the top and it went down.
That's what I'm
And it
saying.
went
But
down
like,
really fast.
So like did boom to the tip. Like,
I'm not really
It's
sure
like
the
if
full
we're- you know
details.
what I'm
I was
saying,
just
right?
told they went.
He's saying in the
broke.
box, did
Yes.
they like shoot, like hit the
Yeah.
ceiling?
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
sure.
You guys, that is my
Crazy.
biggest
That's
fear.
that's the biggest fear for
Well,
sure.
you know, if you
That's
just
crazy.
jump right before it hits the
Exactly.
floor,
Oh
you'd be
yeah, but
fine.
how are you meant to know when you hit like? Come.
You gotta know.
Apparently,
You
though,
gotta
what you're
jump, like,
supposed to
7
do is lay on your back if that happens. You're not supposed to stay standing.
How much time do you
can
got
like kind of
to?
spread out the
No,
guess. I
impact.
don't
that's
know.
those reflexes.
Then you hit your
Crazy,
nose
though.
on it.
No,
on
I'm
the
just
roof.
going chest
I think I
push-up
would just
position and
crouch
just
in a
taking
ball.
it, dude.
I've been stuck in an elevator a few times.
Really?
But recently, I was in an elevator with like 6 chicks, and we definitely were like over capacity on the elevator, and it drops and it goes like this. It goes boom. And I just panic because obviously I hate elevators anyway. And then it opens mid-floor. So I can see like the floor above me and the next floor. And the girls go to like get out of the elevator. And that's like the biggest no-go, because what happens is then it drops again and you just, you know what I mean? So like, I'm like, no. Everyone like shut the door. And then we like press a few buttons, and then eventually it goes down, and we just like, I like ran out of there so quickly.
Well, because you don't want to get caught. So you're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, I
Bless
know.
up.
And now
Fuck
that
that.
like really started my like elevator phobia.
You did tell us you wanted to plug something though and talk about the organization End Overdose.
Yes.
I just saw you did a post about it, right?
Yeah. So I met the End Overdose team a couple months ago at Emo Night. They're a non-profit organization that aim to educate and train people on how to administer Narcan. And for those of you who don't know what Narcan is, it basically helps you if you're having a fentanyl overdose. So people, sadly, aged between 18 to 45, like it's one of the leading causes of death in the US of that age group is fentanyl overdose. They're helping train people like look out for that. I got my certificate a couple months ago. It's really easy to get. You just do it online or you do it in person. You get the Narcan, and if you're out and you see someone that is displaying the signs, you can actually help save a life. So yeah, it's something I'm like very passionate about, and I think it's a really good organization.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you have like a link or something, we can put it in the description
I would
for
love
people
that.
to check out. Yeah.
They're
Definitely.
amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming
this was
on.
amazing.
I
Thank
loved
you
this
guys.
episode. Yeah,
Thank you so
learned
much for
much.
having me, and
course.
thank you for like my first podcast ever.
Wow.
You crushed it.
Yeah, thank you
you did
so
very,
much.
very good. That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the 505 podcast. If you're still here, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you all next week. Peace.
Later.
Bye.